Hi guys, it's Elisa. Thank you so much for tuning back into my channel today. I know I'm like strangely dolled up during this time of quarantine, and the reasoning for that is none. I had online classes today. I just finished, and the things I really like to do to make time pass is art, Disney Plus, and makeup. So you know, it was a fun way for me to pass time. Then I was like, you know what, since I'm now partial glam, I might as well make a YouTube video. So this video, actually, I was supposed to do it a while back, but I just never got around to it. But it's about the quick service food and beverage role at Disney World. If you're working either for the Disney College program, which I'm assuming most of the viewers are gonna be, but if not, it also can go for, I guess, full-time and part-time at quick service. I don't know how different it is if you're FT and PT, but this is mostly just coming from a Disney College program perspective, since that's the only perspective I have. I'm an alumni for quick service. My date was fall 2019, so I just finished my program 2 months ago, and I'm actually going back, knock on wood, for Fall Advantage in May to be a character attendant, which I'm super excited to do. Literally, that was my dream role. I'm so blessed and so excited, but I'm definitely so happy I had the quick service experience. A lot of people don't really know what quick service is, but it is like basically what it says. There's just a bunch of different like sides and aspects to quick service food and beverage. So basically anything that deals with the food, the drinks, or anything consumable in the parks falls under quick service, whether you're in a restaurant, at a popcorn stand, getting a slushie, ordering an alcoholic beverage somewhere. Like everything that you eat or drink comes from a quick service cast member. Quick service food and beverage is the most popular role at Disney. I would say, other than merchandise, I think quick service is the #1 for the most amount of students that they employ. It's also the most high need. So when I say high need, this information is coming from a Disney blog where it says custodial, housekeeping, lifeguard, and quick service are the most crucial roles that they always try to keep more on hand than they actually need. If you work in quick service, there could be a million different things that you're doing, but you don't really know until 2 weeks before your program start date, which I hate, and I wish they would change that, but they don't. Just like how they don't tell you your roommates until you physically roll into the door with your suitcase and you're like, hi, I'm your roommate. Like, I hate that. Like, literally walking in, like, I paired up with people last time, so I knew it was gonna be the 4 of us, but we walked into a 6-bedroom apartment and I was like, oh, who are the other 2 girls? Just show me, like, that, and then not telling you what your role is gonna be, like your actual, like, specific role 2 weeks out. It drives me nuts, but I guess it's a fun way to keep you on your toes. Plus, Disney is so, like, fast moving that I guess they have to do that because things change so much. For example, my last program, I figured out I was quick service, but then I had to wait for like 6 months until I knew where I would be placed, and then I got the email saying that I was at the Yacht Club Resort. My experience with food service or quick service is a little bit different because it's one of the 3 categories that you can be in. So the first one is outdoor vending, which is like working the food carts, if you hand out Mickey bars, popcorn, or even like the things with like pretzels and like baked goods or pastries. I think even Joffrey, I don't know if Joffrey's counts. They have Joffrey's everywhere in Disney parks, but I don't think that counts. I think those are Joffrey's employees, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how Joffrey's works. I don't think, they're just like a big mystery to us. So there's outdoor vending, there's quick service restaurant, which is like the restaurants in the park, like Flame Tree Barbecue, even though that's not really your ideal. Like, what's that, like the Rainforest Cafe, or like different restaurants like Cosmic Rays, or just things that you go in and sit down at. And then there is quick service resort, which is what I was. So quick service resort is when you're working in a hotel on Disney property. So I was in Yacht Club, but when you are quick service, you can pick up wherever you want. So if I wanted to pick up at a food cart in Hollywood Studios, I could. If I wanted to work at a restaurant in the park, I could. I just never chose to because personally I liked my job a lot. It was very, very tiny we had maybe like 8 or 7 college programs, while most other places have like dozens and dozens of them. So our job literally became a little family. It was so cute and I had the time of my life. So that's why I never really picked up anywhere else. Plus, I was always working. I was working 5 to 6 days out of the week. I never had time to pick up anywhere else because those 1 or 2 days I would have off, I would go to the park or cry at home. No, I'm just kidding. But like I said, you can pick up in all of them, and then the training that you get, so the training that you receive during or after traditions, it doesn't train you on all the restaurants and all the places, obviously, because that would take like years for you to learn, but it teaches you just the overall rules of quick service. So this is temperatures, like if something is under 41, I'm sorry, over 41 degrees, you need to throw it out or put it in the waste bin because it's not good anymore. You learn about cash handling, which Disney is very strict about cash handling, at least my location was. You learn about busing techniques. You learn very, very briefly like sanitation techniques. A class that I actually had to take, and this was a little unfortunate, but we had to end up taking sex trafficking classes. Since we were resort workers, we had to really know the signs of someone who was being held captive or hostage. After I took the class, I was literally walking around the resort like, are you okay? Blink twice if you need help. Like I was just like so paranoid. But you do take a bunch of classes during your, like as soon as traditions is over, you have like your concrete training with a bunch of people that are in different parks, different locations, like working in the parks, in the resort, everyone. Like that's when you learn your concrete stuff, like the big picture things. And then you go to your location and you learn your location things. So every location has different rules. Like they have their more specific rules, because you could be working back of house somewhere, which is like when you're in the kitchen preparing the food, or you can be front of house where you're giving the food out. I was both, if that makes sense. My job was so small, like we didn't physically make the food, but we retrieved the made food from the kitchen, and we would prepare it even more at our location. So if we had paninis, we would have to put them in the oven, cut them, modify them. We would have to make chili dogs, make coffee. So I was like front of house and back of house because I also had to like bus tables, help people find stuff. So but other locations aren't like that. Sometimes when you work back of house, that's all you are for that time. Now you can change throughout the shift. I know there's some people that work back of house for the first half of their shift, then front of house for the second half. I don't know how common that is because that's really weird. But there's also circumstances in which, like on Monday, you could be back of house. On Tuesday, you could be front of house. But for me, I was always the same. My job was always the same. Some jobs are so different. Some quick service jobs, you can even change locations. Like I know in Hollywood Studios, I don't know if it's Sunset Boulevard, but there's like, if you're in a certain zone, you can hop around in between different restaurants. Like all the restaurants that are in that zone, you can go from anywhere from 0 to 5 restaurants in a day. So quick service is so different everywhere you go. Like you could literally talk to another quick service cast member and feel like you're talking to someone from a different planet, because like the I guess circumstances, just like the job patterns are just so different for everybody. Like me, same thing every day. I pretty much had the same schedule. I was always doing the same thing. There are different roles during the day. So how it works is like I would clock in and I would pick up food runners. So I would have to go back and forth between my location and the kitchen, bring them those spoilage, and then I pick up paninis, and then I throw out old trays. And this is like a 10-15 minute walk each way because back of house was so far away from the front of house. And while I was back there, I would also have to grab fresh pastries and I would bring them back, but then we wouldn't have enough room in the cooler, so I would have to spoil out the old pastries, put the new pastries in. But no, look, now I have all these old Mickey cookies just sitting here, so I'd have to go all the way to the back of house and spoil them out. And when you spoil things out, you have to keep a tally of everything that you spoil. Sometimes if your leaders are cool, they'll let you snack on something, but they're really not supposed to. Unless you have a really cool leader, then they'll let you. It's very different. But then I'll go on break and somebody else will pick up my position, food runner. And then when I clock back in after break, I'll pick up coffee and I'll make coffee. Then the coffee person goes on break. So you're always like switching between roles. But the specific training that you receive during that time you learn that when you actually get to your location. You don't learn how to make coffees at your traditions training. That's just weird because not every job makes coffee. I don't know if this all makes sense. So let me draw it out for you. Your traditions training. I'm just going to call it traditions training because it comes right after traditions. I don't think it's actually affiliated with like what you think traditions is. That's just like where you're being initiated into the cast member crew. This is when you learn your most basic stuff like temps, cleanliness, techniques. You learn how to pick up a box, red zone, yellow zone, green zone. You learn how to pick up things without injuring your back. If you're picking up something up here, then you're in your red zone, so you should get on a stool and make it into your green zone. That way you're not hurting your shoulders. So you get to learn all that super fun stuff. But then you actually go to your location. So for me, I'm gonna use my example. I was at Yacht Club. Sorry about my handwriting. It normally looks better when I'm not writing it, so in my red zone like that. Here I learned coffees. I learned Yacht Club packaging, like how to label stuff, how to make labels, how to make paninis, how to spoil stuff out. And you learn this stuff at your location training. I'm just gonna call it location training because this isn't gonna be everywhere you go. You learn this because it applies to every location. It applies to when you're at the food carts, if you're in quick service restaurants, and if you're quick service resort. This is what every cast member needs to know. Then you go to your location, and then you learn your location things. It's like, think of it as a metaphor for life. As you're growing up, you learn everything you need to, how to be a good person. Hopefully you learn how to do that. If not, you learn how to feed yourself, how to stay hydrated, how to live, how to save money, spend money, like how to just like be a person. And then let's say you grow up and you have to move to a different country. Well, then you know all this stuff, but then you have to learn the country's things, like how to do the country's taxes and how to follow their laws and how to fit in with them. So it's like you know your stuff, but then you're learning more stuff depending where you go. So that's a really good way to look at it, and also very deep. This is what quarantine has done to my brain and what you do. So I never picked up at any other location like I mentioned, but you could always pick up at a food cart. And here, since you already know how to do like temperatures and sanitation and how to open and close, now you get to pick up at a food cart, and then you learn their stuff, how to butter the popcorn, how much butter will send somebody into cardiac arrest, how to refill drinks, how to do this, how to do that. Oh, and then you want to pick up at a quick service restaurant. Well, now you need to learn front of house, back of house, or their version of front of house, back of house. You're going to see FOH and BOH a lot when you're at quick service, because that's how they say front of house, which is like when you're bussing, seating, just when you're on stage with the people. And then back of house is backstage, away from the people. So working in the kitchen. So be prepared to learn this. It's a little painfully boring. Bring snacks, because I did. And I was like, I definitely overpacked way too many snacks. But then I ended up eating all of them. And then I asked someone else for some of her snacks. So I bring a lot of snacks. And they're also very early in the morning. Mine was at like 7 a.m., which is, yes, is very early considering I hadn't been to Disney in like 11 years and didn't know how the heck I was going to get from my dorm to the grapefruit garage. What? You'll learn all of that. Let's talk about costuming. Every location has their own distinct costume. No locations share the same costume. Like you'll have like, sometimes they share the same pants, like if they're just like khaki pants, or the same like white button-down shirt, which is fine. But every location has a costuming department where you pick up your costume. So my location had one, and luckily it was in the yacht club. So you literally had to walk through costuming in order to get to my job. So if I was drinking coffee on my way to work and I hit a speed bump and the coffee spilled all over my shirt, costuming's right there. You can only check out 5 of each item: 5 pants, 5 shirts, 5 this, 5 that. And since some people like never ever bring their costumes home, they check them in, or they check them out when they get to work and they check them back in at the end of their shift. I never did that because my location never had my size. I thought I was a fairly average shaped human, and I am, but they just never had my size for some reason. So if I ever found a pair of pants that were my size, I kept them. I hoarded them. And I found 2 pairs in my 6 months there, and I never gave them back. So I just washed them because my apartment had a washer and dryer, which not a lot of apartments do. I believe Commons is the only one, and I think Flamingo Crossing might have that too. I think for the price it should. But like my coworker, for example, his size was Common, so he just checked them in and out every day at work. But I just checked mine out, and sometimes I would switch the shirts out, but like in terms of the pants and the apron, like, well, no, I would actually change my aprons out a lot. But the hat, I always kept my hat because they never had my hat size. So that's how costuming works. Not all locations have costuming in the building. You're gonna have to figure that out whenever you get there. So I know if you're working in the parks, costuming can be a little bit tricky to find. Luckily, like I said, I'm doing character attending, and they pretty much wear the same thing. If you pick up at different locations, like let's say my home location is Yacht Club, but hey, I want to pick up at Pecos Bill. Well, I need to go to costuming and get a Pecos Bill costume. And how you check them out is you use your Disney Blue ID and you scan it, or you just walk through the scanner, and the scanner like picks up the barcodes on your stuff, and then you have it, and then just turn it back in whenever. Quick service is provided with shoes. It's called Shoes for Crews. Everyone hated them. I liked them. Like, I don't know if it's just me. I've been working in restaurants since I was 16, so I'm just used to those big chunky non-slip shoes. But everyone always said, get your own pair of shoes. So I did. I got a pair of Walmart Tread Safe. They were like 24 bucks, I think. But I ended up wearing those, and I hated them. They made my feet hurt. My feet actually started locking up. Like the bottom, like your Achilles, I don't know if that makes sense, but it would just like literally lock up, and I like wouldn't be able to bend it. And I did some research, and my roommate actually worked as a EMT on an ambulance, so she knew a good bit of stuff, and she's also going to medical school. So she was like, yeah, you probably just have bad shoes. And I was like, maybe I'll start wearing the Shoes for Crews and seeing if they make a difference. So I started wearing them, and they were actually like okay. Like I had no issues with the Shoes for Crews. You get 2 options. You can get the lace-ups, or you can get the slip-ons. I got lace-ups. Don't know why, just because they're always adjustable. So if you're wearing big fluffy socks versus no-shows, you can adjust them. And the shoes are yours to keep. I still have mine, I think. I think they're in the garage. I think my mom uses them for yard work or something. So some of the things that you'll learn at quick service, you can learn how to work the register, basic busing techniques. You can learn how to make popcorn. You can learn how to make french fries, how to salt the french fries. Ice cream, you can make sandwiches, you can make ice cream sandwiches, you can make so many things. You can restock, like if you do work in Pecos Bill, you would restock the things in the buffet. Like there's literally a million things you can do in quick service, and I can't reiterate that enough. Like I said, you take classes after your traditions, and then throughout your program you're going to continue to take classes on this thing called D-Learn. I hate D-Learn, and I hate the idea of having to go back to another D-Learn class ever again. It's basically just on the computer. You just sit there and you watch like very stupid videos like made in like the early 2000s, just like very badly animated, like bad actors. And then you just have to answer questions, and then sometimes you have to take a test at the end, and your leader will like watch over you. Make sure you don't cheat. Like I said, if they're cool, they'll help you answer some questions, because I was taking a test on food safety, and there was a question about like a fire. It was like, if the building catches on fire, what do you do? And I was like, what does this have to do with food safety? And she's like, I don't know, but just put C. And I was like, I bet. You've heard about Disney Look. This is something that Disney ingrains into your head. You'll hear it every single day. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but Disney Look does not apply, or it doesn't cave for quick service. So during my last program, they actually released this thing called like the casual like Disney Look, or like the more lax Disney Look. It was basically just like Disney Look, but like -3 or -5, like just a little less like strict. And that applied to like literally almost every position except for quick service. I think for the guys, they were able to grow out their beard hair just a little bit more, like a fraction of an inch, but we still aren't allowed to wear jewelry. We're allowed to wear 1 stud in each ear, but it can't be hanging, and it can't be bigger than 1/4. You can't have this cartilage piercing. You can't have a double lobe, a triple lobe. Can't have a nose piercing. So I got my nose pierced before my program, like 6 months before my program. I got there, obviously I had to take it out, and then I was like the first day of January, because my last day was January 2nd, but I wasn't scheduled to work January 2nd. That was just like my move out day. So I said in August, first day of the year, I'm getting my nose piercing back. So you best believe on January 1st, 2020, I was up in a piercing parlor. It was actually across the street from the tallest chair swing in the world. Just a fun fact. It's called the Orlando Starflyer. It's in Orlando. It's about 15 minutes from the dorms. Super fun. Highly recommend. And I think it's like on the same street as the largest McDonald's in the world. It's like 2 streets over. We did those. We did both of them in one day. My best friend and I, we had the time of our lives. Definitely recommend doing that. The Starflyer is like $9. It's terrifying. I have very little fears, but I actually did have a bit of a panic attack when I was up there. I was like hyperventilating because I did have a dream once that I was like on a chair swing, like at the fair. It was like a very just short one, and then the chain snapped and I was like plummeting down to earth, and then I woke up and I was like and so while I was up there, guess what memory came back into my head? That one. Guess who started crying? This one. You know what I said? I said, I'm sorry, I'm freaking out. I had a dream once, and my friend Maddie went, shut up. Before you say one more word, just shut up. And I was like, I'm sorry. And like, I had like one eye open because it was so pretty and I wanted to see everything, but like the chains are that small, like this small, and it just doesn't feel right, but it's fine. The operator told me there were no deaths. I was like, well, when did y'all open? She was like, oh, it was like a very recent year. And I was like, oh, okay. First time for everything. Yeah. Where was I going with? Oh yeah. Piercings. No piercings. You can have your you can't have your nails painted. I'm sorry. I feel like every other role you can, as long as they're a nude color, but you can't have nail colors because they'll chip and fall into people's food, because that happens like every time I make a bowl of cereal, my nails just like literally fall off into the cereal. Fruity Pebbles and fingernails. So that's pretty much all I have to say on the topic. So you could end up in the busiest location like Picklesville or Cosmic Rays, or I even think Be Our Guest. You can be a college program there, I believe. I've heard. Or you can be in a very slow location. Like I think Columbia Harbor House is a little slower. I think it's like more medium. I've never worked there, but I knew someone who did. Or you can work in a resort. Resorts can still be really busy depending where you are. Like if you're in the Contempo Cafe, I think they get really busy. Or literally any other restaurant in a resort, it's just as busy as the parks, I feel like, depending on the occasion or just the traffic. Like it's what the amount of space can handle. Like everything can be busy. My room can be super busy if there's 10 people in here, but if you put 10 people inside of my location, it's like not busy at all. So like everything has their own standard of busy. So yes, the resorts can get really busy, but it's gonna be nothing compared to like the parks and different places in the parks. Like everything has its own normal. So just remember that. Like we had someone that came from Flame Tree Barbecue once, and he was like, this is really not busy at all. And I was like, this is really busy for us. Like we were genuinely busy, but then I remember that he literally worked at Flame Tree Barbecue, which is like always popping when I go to Animal Kingdom. So remember that. Don't put other CPs down where you're like, oh, you work there, must be nice. Like, yeah, we don't see as much traffic as y'all, but it doesn't mean I'm not still busting my butt and running around. Because if it's really busy for us, we still have the same scale ratio of workers. So if you are super busy, but you have 50 employees, and we're super busy, but we have 10, the stress is still going to kind of like spread out evenly. So just keep that in mind. I think I covered everything I wanted to say. I hope y'all are staying safe during this whole corona thing. There's actually like a good bit of people in my age category who are now contracting the virus, like 7 of which go to my university. So please be safe, be careful. Literally don't leave your house. Don't touch your face, because people are being put on lockdown, like states, because people aren't listening. So just listen to what your governor is saying. Abide by the rules. That way other people don't have to suffer. And yeah, just hopefully we just continue to stay optimistic through the, like, some people really love just like not doing anything, but I have been working multiple jobs since I was 16. This is kind of driving me crazy a little bit, considering my senior year of college literally just ended. I'm never gonna sit in a classroom ever again. Makes me want to cry, but it is what it is. And yeah, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay kind. Follow me on my Instagram. I used to never promote my TikTok, but I guess just like while we're here, just follow me on it. I don't really post like a lot of stuff, but when I do post, I put a lot of effort into it. So, alright guys, I'll talk later. Bye.